Yes, people, how are we all doing? How are we all doing? So, there was a game this week in all this madness, in all this mess. There was a game this week, and it was a nil-nil. Clean sheet. Let's go Leeds. Yeah, it's been a wild one. It's been a wild week. I know emotions are high, so I relaxed. I will rewatch the game, and it's delaying this match rating. So I've watched the game again, and I've got some slightly different thoughts from originally. This is why it's good to reflect and analyze things because you get a different perspective. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's go. Obviously, as usual, we'll start off with the GK, Ilan Meslier, who's building quite consistent form in the goal for me. Look, I think as a fan base, obviously we have former glories in which we try and rely on, and we try and keep that standard high in terms of players on the pitch. But for me, and obviously certain core values which we love as a club, but for me, Ilan Melier's journey now is one that's going to be slower because just based on the pure battering he's had for the last 2 seasons of relentless shots and gaps in front of him, the confidence of a goalkeeper it can't come back really quick. But what I'm seeing from Ilan Melier is now slightly each game he's getting a bit more confident. He made a great save at one-on-one, and he's always been good at one-on-ones, Ilan Melier. There's 2 or 3 times in games where he can catch them or he's parrying a little too much. But I'm seeing a guy who's slightly becoming more confident each game. And it was good yesterday. Look, his distribution's never going to be perfect, and you got to understand coming from a guy who played Bielsa ball then to a system where he's not required to play the ball out from the back. The movements and the understanding and the natural twitches of where you're meant to go when you have the ball at your feet is always going to be something you hesitate on. So there is that hesitation still, and he's still adjusting to the system. Because the goalkeeper, a lot of the time, he starts off the attack. So that first pass or where he goes can create the attack, the rest of it. So in that sense, yeah, I think he's getting better at it. Not perfect, but he's getting better at it. And he made a few good saves in the short time he had to against Sheffield Wednesday. So I was fairly impressed. So I give him a 7 out of 10 to Ilan Meslier. I see a player that's improving in confidence. Yeah, fullbacks. I'm not going to stay on Luke Ayling every single week. Steady game, I thought, in terms of the games this season. Obviously, 1 or 2 times. But I don't think there's anything that stood out for me in terms of bad. Look, every player makes mistakes in games. People point it out. I don't think he made any glaring errors. Did he get beat? I can't really think of it. I think he did okay in the game. I thought it was fine, fairly steady. Did tire, and I think that's a natural thing that's happening to Luke Ayling now as he gets a little older. You know, he's playing under Bielsa ball for 2 years. At that age, can drastically affect the body, clearly, compared to last year where all the players were extremely unfit for the standard that affects the body. But 6 out of 10. Next two. I just want to quickly touch on Jed Spence. I didn't give him a rating because he played like 10 minutes. I'm not going to give someone a rating in 10 minutes, but he played really well when he came on. You know what I mean? It's hard to rate that in a number. But he came on, showed his recovery speed, showed what he will try to do. And once this guy gets involved in this system, he will play every game and he will be a very good asset for us. Looking forward to seeing him a lot. Talk about Jamie Shack. There's a lot of chat about Jamie Shack. A lot of it. And it seems you either have to think he was really good or he was terrible. Oh, he just ran around or he was world class. For me, why is it so definitive? Why do we want to create this one narrative? I think Jamie Shackleton played well in the circumstances and the situation he's in. And I think he's performing at a higher level than we all thought he would. And that's good for a footballer because that's what you want them to do. That's what you want to see them do. I said he's the ultimate squad player. He will adapt his style of play. He will come in and do a decent job in a side, especially a side that requires a lot of running and high possession. And he's doing that. And he did that left back. Look, I'm not standing here saying he's man of the match or he's world class, but what he's done in terms of improvement, in terms of standing up to the standard in a positions we need him to, because we've got no one else, he's doing that. And that's fair play to him. And I want him to keep doing that for wherever we need him. That's the true squad player, the true core of a squad that you need to get promoted. You need players like Jamie Shackleton who will go in positions and do a job for you there. And actually, yesterday, I thought he was fairly solid, both forward and back. Now, people talk about the connection between him and Onto. Now, I liked it. I liked the ideas. The issue with that was the other guys around them. There was never really any involvement in terms of that combination coming to a goal scoring opportunity. It was good, but there's never really an end to it, right? And that's where Daniel Farke has got to work with these players to create an end to these moves we're doing because they did work well together, but it was not to any prevail. Do you know what I mean? We've got to find a consistent mode in which we can allow these players to do these things, but in a way which everyone else can be connected. So, yeah, got forward well, defensively solid. Good 7 out of 10 for Jamie Shack. I thought it was good. I thought it was great. And I like to see that. I'm not going to judge, we can't say this, we can't say that. Say what you want. He's played well. They're the facts of the game. Jamie Shackleton played well in that match. In the way that Jamie Shackleton can do, using his attributes to affect the game. Look, he's not this creative guy who's going to create loads of chances. Well, the other players should be doing that. He did his job well. The big dog's at the back. I put him above a 7. Might be a little high, but I thought, he dealt with most things apart from, 1 or 2 times, I think, where they had a shot. Pascal got pushed in the back. It was blatantly obvious, but obviously the linesman didn't see it. That was the time they had a shot. There was a 1-on-1 as well, but that came from a wider area, not necessarily their fault. Again, working alone at times because of how high we progressed. There was no recovery at that point. But I thought they did well. I thought fairly quiet, solid game, which I think is good. I think on the ball, they did all they could. The rest of the team didn't step up to that creative play that we needed them to. So these 2 guys were fairly solid for me. Could have been a 6 to a 7, to be honest. But not because they'd played bad. Again, these ratings are based on how they impact a game, not necessarily, if they don't touch the ball a lot, that doesn't mean they played bad. It doesn't mean they played well. If they score 1 goal, but then for 90 minutes don't do anything, that'll up their rating, but I'm not giving them a 10 out of 10 because they scored a goal. How much you impact in the game on a consistent basis. And these 2 didn't have a lot of the ball, but in the moments they did well, so I can't give them higher than a 7. And it's our first clean sheet since February. It's, yeah. What can I say? Yeah, both fine for me. Again, solid partnership. I'm really liking it. I saw a terrible article about Pascal Schreiber, which is absolute pure delusion from whoever wrote that. Crazy. Not a Leeds fan, by the way, just some random mental. These 2 have been solid so far. Partnership. Really impressed with it. Midfield. I think it's fair to say, we'll touch on Archie a little bit. I'm not going to talk too much about Archie. Young man. To be honest, the thing with Archie Gray is, I think he's already exceeded what a lot of people thought he would do this season, including me. I don't think he'd start much. I thought he'd be a good impact. He'd learn a lot this season and then progress next year because he's 17. But in the first 5 games, he's been very consistently solid. He has. He really has. And it's true. It's true on him. That's all on him. That's on his mentality and his attitude. And it's spot on. He's been brilliant for Leeds. Give him a 6. Solid score. Not his best game for Leeds, but he's a 17-year-old. He's going to have games where he plays a lot worse than he did. He's going to have games where he plays a lot better. Solid performance. The only issue, and this is not on him, this is on the way we want to play, is the attributes of Archie Gray in senior football have not yet been applied more offensively. What Archie Gray does very good is that defensive work and then moving forward with the ball, right? Running forward with it, whether that's through a pass to create space or running with it. Excellent. The issue of Archie Gray is finding that cutting edge pass in the final third. And that's what he'll find in his game in 2 or 3 years when he gets older. You can't have everything at 17. You know what I mean? But yeah, solid performance from Archie Gray. But like we said now, we've got the reinforcements him. Don't have to rely on Archie Gray to put in performances every week. He can come in. He can impact every game when he comes on. He can start games when other guys are feeling tired and come in and do a brilliant job for the side. But there's not a reliance on him to do it every week, which is good for a 17-year-old. Ethan Ampadu. For me, I give an 8, and this is purely down to the fact that, again, I'm looking at standards here. And I said, and someone shouts, a guy who commented about how the rating works. For most players, it's an average rating. It's not this player's better, so I'll give him a higher score. This player's younger, so I'll give him a higher score. The 2 guys for me that I'm seeing progress from was Sinistera, hence why I give him a lower score, because to push a player, well, the way we do it, where I'm at, to push a player, you have to be more harsh on them, especially when their standard is higher. Sinistera, for example, was clearly a standard above the Championship. So in his performance, it's a good performance all in all, but for him, he could do better. That makes sense? The same with Ampadu now. It's getting to the point where he's clearly a step above this Championship level. So I can't give him a 9 out of 10 for that performance because I believe he can perform better. That's how good he is. But this was still his best performance, and he was by far the best player on the pitch because as a standard foundation, this guy is one of the better players in the Championship and shouldn't be playing at this level. know what I mean? So the expectation for him and how he gets better is not to stay at this level, but to always want to improve because he can. So I give him an 8 out of 10. Great score. Look, the guy's absolutely brilliant. Best player on the pitch, levels above. And there's more in there. Hence why the 8. If I'd have come in and given him a 9.5 or a 10, I'm thinking, so he can't play better than that? But he can, I think. I think he can play better than that. So that's how good he is. Don't let him shoot. Ampadu has everything, right? But he can't shoot. Don't let the boy shoot. And this comes into now the Kamara and the Gruev role. Gruev's sleeping, you know. People are sleeping on Gruev. This guy's going to have a big impact this year. I still don't know where or what. It's one of Farke's little gems. But he's going to have a big impact. Yeah, even Ampadu 8 out of 10. Absolutely outstanding. Solid performance. Probably the man of the match. This is where the controversial stuff starts, isn't it? Right, everyone be respectful in the comments. I can already see it. I have my own opinion on the 9 and 10 stuff, and there is going to be a video in this next week as to explain why Daniel Farke went with Pirro at the 10 and Jorginho at the 9. Why he did that, why he's thinking he might do that, why. There's going to be a video. You'll find out. It's my opinion on it, what I think, why he did it, why it won't work, why it might work. I'm going to do my own video on it. That'll be coming very soon, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, these are the rating to these guys. And the thing with Jorginho, and people forget about it because he missed some obvious big chances where when he has time to think, it's not good. He's an instinct player. He plays well on instincts where he doesn't have time to think and he can just get on with the freedom. When he has time to think, like that chance, the first touch was brilliant. Oh, the first touch was beautiful. And that's him. That's what he can do. But then the second touch, he tries to be cute and lob the keeper. And Daniel Farke said it in his press conference. He just needs to stop thinking in those moments and kind of just hit the ball. Hit the ball in the back of the net. Stop trying to be over cute with it. Just hit it. Just stop overthinking. Keep your mindset right in those moments. You know, and he doesn't in those key moments at times. And that's what's frustrating with Jorginho. But I'm not going to be one of these fans who 1 week they're saying he's the best and then the week after saying you should sell him. That's just so reactionary. He's clearly a talented player and he's clearly a way in which he can be very, very effective for Leeds this season. But it's about finding that right balance in the game or the scenario that plays around him to help him develop in that way. He had some great moments. There's one bit of play where he dropped deep, passed it out, spun a guy, knocked it past another guy and went to the byline and there was no one in the box really. Stuff like that is where Jorginho excelled, played a little bit deeper in that role. So why was he at the 10? Joe Pirro, why was he not at the 10? Joe Pirro, I thought he looked bad in that game, personally. I don't think he was good. And like I said, I'll do a video on this, but Joe Pirro does not fit the system. The system has to be adapted to fit Joe Pirro in. We're not yet found the right formula to do that against teams that sit deep and play a low block. We haven't. We will. Daniel Farke has to, I mean. But we haven't yet. We have a player there who can score you goals, fact. We don't have a player who fits the system. That is the issue. And that's what we need to resolve, to how we can work things around it. People telling about, should have played 9. Look, I'll do a video on this. I hear that. There's a lot of reasons why he didn't, I think. There's reasons why he should, of course. But there's reasons why he isn't yet because of the system. And I'll do a video on that. So I'll come out. I give him a 4, basically not even because of that. Just the basic principle things. First touch was shocking. I don't care where you're on the pitch. The first touch should be better. And there's 2 or 3 times at the edge, around the edge of the box where he scored most of his goals for Swansea last year, where his touch was just baggy. I just think he had an off day in general. I do. That one-on-one that he scuffed terribly wide. You know, Joe Pirro another day bags that bottom corner probably 8 times out of 10. He had a bad day. I think everyone's forgetting about that. Everyone's talking about the number 9 or the 10. To me, it's not about that. It's about characteristics, not the position they should be playing. It's about why they're playing in that position. What's the role in that position? Not necessarily the number, the 10. What is the 10 in this system? Because Daniel Farke has had many 10s in this system, completely different characteristics. So what is required in that system is what we need to look at, not the position they're playing. So, yeah, it looked off it. Joe Pirro, just want a good game for him. Regardless, he could have played him wherever you wanted. He just didn't look on it that day. That's the facts of the situation. So that's a video I'll get into. I know it's controversial for some reason. People we'll get into that. Don't worry, that'll be a video coming soon. Look forward to it. But yeah, 5 and 4, not great. Red moments though. And here's the last 2. Look, I'm not doing Kamara. Played about 3 minutes. Although in the 2 touches he had, they were very good. Looking forward to seeing him. But yeah, these two guys, I thought a 6.5 is fair. I can't give them a 7 because of final product and the way the game turned out. Willie Gnonto, for me, did cause problems for them. He did. He was direct. He ran at the fullback. He should have won a penalty, in my opinion. The issue with Gnonto in this game was not necessarily him, but the decision of the team to force the ball on him almost every time we attacked. Every time we attacked, because Gnonto's got a brilliant positional play. He's always in space. He likes to drive. And the issue was we became a too one-dimensional down that side where we became predictable. We didn't use the middle or the other side as much. So the issue with Gnonto was not him, just the team around him, not allowing him to express himself in a way he could. Because when he did take 2 or 3 men on, the way in which they sat, they'd got back into the box and there was 5 or 6 defenders in front of him. So trying to find a product out of that in the box is almost impossible. So we had to go all the way back. But himself as an individual played well and tried to progress the ball and cause their fullbacks problems. Again, just about the team understanding each of our players and how we can adapt them to be more effective. So 6.5, decent performance from Willie Gnonto. Same with Somerville. Somerville seems to split opinion, but for me, just the way in which pure raw talent allows him to just drive with the ball, take guys on, very quick and direct. I love that in this side. If you can hone that talent, and if he just releases the ball at quicker moments, makes more decisive movements with the ball at times, and finishes, and then works on his final product, this guy will destroy the league. The issue with Somerville was also the same issue with Gnonto, whereas in the middle, he'd have that ball, but then he's running into 5 or 6 defenders because we didn't have the movement anywhere to break that down. That's a system thing. It's hard for these creative players to be creative where you don't know how to break down a block. That's what you learn in training. That's what will come in time. So yeah, shout out to these two for attempting and trying to be progressive. I think some of us got a bit of work to do in terms of fitting properly the system, but when he does, you've got a real dangerous player for sure. We just need to have time. We need to work. With Gruev and Kamara coming in, Jet Spence coming in, those guys will totally transform the team. And what I mean by that is you take Rodon, Ampadu, and Pirro out of this side, Pirro on a good day, out of this side, the team's completely different, isn't it? Completely different. So you add 3 more into this side with Kamara, Gruev, and Spence. Again, a completely different side. Anthony as well. A lot is to change and there's a lot to do, of course. But we can't expect miracles. Farke's literally just got his squad as of the end of the last game, the final squad of the season. That's what it's going to be. That's what you've got to work with. They're the players you can work with properly now. Now he knows that. Ideally, they wouldn't have gone on international duty. Gruev and Kamara, who've just joined, are going on international duty. That's not good. That's not ideal. So getting them up to speed will take a little bit longer, so we're going to have to be a little more patient. I'm willing to be because, working that, I understand how long it can take to apply a system on a team. It takes a long time. Well, for some coaches it takes longer than others. That's just how direct and I guess what process you're in as a team. Losing 13 players, it takes a long time. But people need to chill out. We're all right. We're fine, in my opinion. I think we're good. There's a lot to go in this season. People that counting it out right now should have counted Burnley out last season, should have counted Farke's 2 seasons before in this championship in which he won the league, in where he had very similar, if not worse, points record at this stage than now. Things take time. Look at the championship last year. Look at the teams that went up, apart from Sheffield United, and the teams that were in the playoffs at the end of the season. Look where they were after 5 games. Look where they were after 10 games. Anyone thinks the season's done after 5 games, I'm sorry, you're wrong. It isn't. It simply is not. And that will be proven. Maybe not just by us, but by other teams who are also down there with us. We'll be fine. We have the talent. We just need to work out the system and work out the best way to get the best out of each player using their attributes in this system. Yeah, I appreciate the support from everyone as usual. Please be nice in the comments because I know people are a bit tetchy these days. When we get a draw, we lose to the team at the bottom. I get that, but I'm not the manager. I'm not these players. I'm just trying to figure out why we make decisions and how we can be better in them. Yeah, I appreciate all the support, though. The support is insane, genuinely. And trying to catch up on the comments. But yeah,